In an interview with a pair of New York Times reporters that is featured in a forthcoming book, Mitch McConnell actually called pro-Trump lawyer Sidney Powell, along with Lynn Wood, clowns. Said that these people were clowns for their efforts to try to overturn the results of the 2020 election. But here's what's really interesting about these comments from Mitch McConnell. These comments were made prior to, based on what I'm reading right now, prior to the Georgia runoffs in January of 2021, which means these comments were made prior to the Capitol riot itself. So even before all that hullabaloo, even before Republicans lost control of the Senate, Mitch McConnell was out there saying that these people were clowns. He was still, according to the book, he was still the majority leader at the time these comments were made. So again, before the Senate runoffs and before the Capitol riot. Here is specifically what McConnell said, according to the two reporters, Jonathan Martin and Alexander Burns. The book is called "This Will Not Pass: Trump, Biden, and the Battle for America's Future." Here's the comments. Everybody around him, except for clowns like Sidney Powell and Lynn Wood, are trying to get him to do the right thing. Okay, simple enough, right? These clowns want him to continue fighting it. And guess which ones Trump listened to? But let's be fair, right? Sidney Powell, Lynn Wood, yeah, they're clowns in my opinion, but they weren't the only clowns. And I think it weird that Mitch McConnell says everybody else except for, these two. No, you had Rudy Giuliani and Steve Bannon, along with John Eastman, posted up in the Willard Hotel trying to figure out ways to overthrow the results of the election. Lindsey Graham had been presented evidence by Rudy Giuliani, but hell, at least Graham had enough sense to say, hey, this looks like a kid wrote it. But there were plenty of people, Mitch, around Donald Trump at that time, trying to overthrow the results of that election. We literally just learned in the past week that there were even state lawmakers, specifically from the state of Arizona, contacting the Department of Homeland Security, begging them to go out and confiscate the voting machines and do a full forensic audit so that they could throw out the results and therefore give Donald Trump control of America for another 4 years illegitimately. So don't sit there and act, Mitch, like, it was just, a handful of clowns out there. We know about the clowns. Problem is, we're still learning about how packed full that clown car was. Just because Sidney Powell was driving it and Lynn Wood was in the passenger seat doesn't mean they were the only ones packed in there. We have seen dozens of individuals who previously had not been known to have been taking a role in this coup attempt, which is exactly what this was. So are they clowns? Absolutely. I mean, hell, they're so clownish, by the way, that even a Michigan judge ordered both Sidney Powell and Lynn Wood to take a course. They have to take a class by court order on how to properly file a lawsuit. And unfortunately, as we all know, Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell have had a massive falling out. The two are not friends. Lynn Wood has made some pretty serious allegations against Sidney Powell. So even Sidney Powell's a little bit too nutso for Lynn Wood to want to be on her side anymore. And I guess the bigger problem is that Powell's still out there. Powell's still pushing this. Powell still, I think, believes that she is somehow going to overturn the results of the 2020 election. So that's the real danger here. But equally as dangerous is the fact that we still don't know who all the players were. We don't know all the names. We don't know where all these people are. Those are answers we still need. Hopefully the Capitol Riot Committee gets them. But there's still a lot to uncover. And Sidney Powell and Lynn Wood were just the beginning of a much larger conspiracy to overthrow the results of the 2020 election. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel. We also encourage you to like, comment, and share. But again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.